a motion in a second.
Okay, I make a motion that Commissioner Knight lead the meeting today.
I'll second that.
And do you want to take a roll call vote or just a census vote?
Census vote should be fine.
Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. So now you get to start with roll call and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. This is the beginning of today's Historic Preservation Commission regular meeting. Can we start with a roll call?
We introduce you to Commissioner Fair, who's joining us today for the first time. So Commissioner Fair, say here.
Here.
Thank you.
Here.
Yes. Commissioner Herlihy,
Here.
Commissioner Knight,
Present.
Commissioner Summers,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Loring, and Commissioner Severtson are both absent today.
All right. Looks like we have some oaths of office on the agenda.
I will give the oaths of office, so we have,
And for Karen, who doesn't know us yet, Karen, I am senior planner, Lisa Savage, and I'm the executive secretary.
Speak
for the-
into this. Nice to meet you.
So, Karen, if you can stand, and Sean and Liz. And I'm going to say I, and then all three of you will state your name, and I'll read the rest, and then at the end confirm. Okay? I
Sean Herlihy.
Liz Knight.
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Eureka, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter in the capacity of Commissioner for the Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Eureka.
I will.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, it looks like we need to elect a vice chair.
We're going to do that when we have our chair and vice chair here, so we're just going to wait on that one for next time.
Fantastic. We're going to wait on that. All right.
Acting Chair Knight, do you want to do a round of introductions for our new commissioner?
That's a great idea. All right. Why don't we start? We'll go on down the line. If you'd like to go first.
I'm Sean Herlihy. I run two businesses in the community related to construction. One is Compass Carpentry. We specialize in historic preservation and remodeling of structures. And I also run Compass Inspection Services, where we do home inspections for real estate transactions and for letting homeowners know how the condition of their house is after a number of years.
I'm Liz Knight. I work in fields completely unrelated to historic preservation, but I am restoring my own home and care a lot about our community and keeping the homes that we have here.
primarily work on residential design, but I also love to champion the historical nature of our community.
Samantha, was your mic on?
I don't think it was.
Okay, can you make sure it is for next time? Thank you.
Next time for sure.
Hi, my name is Jesse Smith. I'm actually a accountant technician for Cal Poly Humboldt right now. Before that, I worked in the assessor's office doing property taxes and inspections and things like that. And I've always had a passion for history, and longtime members, including my family before me, of the Historical Society and things of that nature. So this is right up my alley, and I really enjoy it.
And then you get to introduce yourself as well.
I'm Karen Fair, and I've had a long time ago, back quite a ways, to the Green Book with Ted Loring when we originally worked on that, but got diverted by having my own business, a restaurant, which is located in a Victorian that my husband and I restored. We had our own home, which was a restored Victorian, and now we're in the next and last one. We seem to have a passion for the history of the area and preserving all the beauty. I love to walk this city and see all the different designs we have. We have such a rich, really rich architectural presence.
Welcome. Okay, we can move on to the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had time to review the minutes? Would anyone like to move to approve last meeting's minutes?
I move to approve last meeting's minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Fantastic. Minutes are approved.
You just have to say, all those in favor?
Oh, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Yay, motion carries.
Okay, there are no continued public hearings, so let's move on to the new public hearing. Are we prepared to hear the staff report? I have to recuse myself. Okay.
I have worked for Mr. Dyer before on his house in question and need to recuse myself from this particular item this time.
Okay, you may go ahead and take a seat.
And we're good to go? All right. Hi, good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Alexandra Gonzalez, and I'm an assistant planner here. And today we'll be presenting on the Dyer Art Room addition at 805 N Street. And let me make sure this is on. All right. So moving into closer to the property, you see that it is 805 N is located in the northeast portion of Eureka. And it is right next to Cooper Gulch, as seen with the red arrow here. Moving closer to the property, it is on the corner of N and 8th Street, as seen here, and it's in a residential high zone. And the applicant is requesting to get approval on constructing a 70 square foot addition to the southwest corner of the home, which is circled here in red. So some historic building information. According to the Green Book, the structure is described as a one-story frame house with enclosed entry, projected slanted bay windows, and a hipped roof. It was constructed in circa 1900, and the addition will be slightly visible from N Street when standing south of the home, looking northeast, as seen in the red circle. I think our presentation got a little morphed up there, so they're not able to see the whole side, but you guys can see it up here on the TV as well. Okay, there you go. So the addition will be seen slightly, as seen in this red circle, and here is a rendering of the portion of the addition that's going to be actually visible from the street. some building materials. So the applicant will be painting the addition to match the existing home. And they will be constructing the addition using T111 plywood with no groove as a siding material and galvanized corrugated steel for its roof. And then there's going to be 2 reclaimed windows installed, with the square window being the one that's mostly visible from the street. And the project is conditioned to retain the historic siding in the event the addition is removed. So as documented within the staff report, Eureka Municipal Code requires a proposed alteration to be reviewed in light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis was based on the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, specifically the standards for rehabilitation. So our recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to find the project is exempt from CEQA and approve and conditionally approve. I have a suggestion motion when you're ready, but we'll stop sharing for some discussion. Staff and applicant are available if you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for staff? I can't remember if we go right to discussion or see if the applicant goes next.
After the staff answers,
Mm-hmm. But it sounds like,
we can open it for public comment. and the
okay,
person usually called is the person who's
okay,
having the
okay. I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. If the applicant's here and would like to address the commission, this would be a good time for that.
where it says push on the face, and then a little light green light will come on.
Thank you. Yes, I'm the applicant, and my name is Bert Dyer, and we've lived in the house for about 6 years. At any rate, I make ceramics, hand-built and wheel-thrown, and have just a very small area, and this addition would give me more space. And actually, I was kind of surprised that I didn't really think it could be seen, because you can't see it from 8th Street or N Street unless you walk down the street, and then you would just see a corner of it. And so my idea is, by painting it the same color, it would blend in if someone did happen to look back and see it, so that it would fit in with the rest of the home. I really love our house. We're not trying to make it anything other than a historic structure. It's not a very big space, and just takes a little bit of our garden. And so anyway, that's the story. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them, hopefully.
Is this going to be more like an enclosed porch then, with the tin roof?
It's kind of like an enclosed porch. The roof won't be seen from any angle, really, and it will have a shed roof. So it's just kind of like a studio space for working. We'll have windows. It won't have any forced air heating or anything like that.
It does have windows. Are they? It does have windows.
It has 2 windows.
Is that something you showed in the report? What type of windows? Are they reclaimed windows?
Yes,
Would you like
they
me
are.
to open
Yes.
it back up?
And yeah, for clarification, they are 2 reclaimed wood windows.
I'm disabled.
They're not in this part here.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah. He showed them to me. He printed it out. He was prepared.
Okay.
I always print stuff out.
Whoop. Stop. Where's my
Are there
stop
other
share?
questions for the applicant?
I had a question about I have a question about the choice of using the corrugated metal for the roof as opposed to the composite that you have on the rest of the house.
The main reason I think is aesthetic for me, and also because it can't be seen. But as I told Alex, I'm flexible on that. So if the committee thinks, yes, try and match the roof that's on the rest of the house, I can do that.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for your question.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for considering it.
Are there any other comments from the public? Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and open the topic for discussion. Oh, we're going to close public comment and open this for discussion.
To me, just the presentation of the metal corrugated roofing, even if you can see it a little, it's so different from the regular roofing. I think I would prefer to try to keep the aesthetic as similar as possible and not noticeable. You know, and I know there's also siding that's a little different and painted. It's not quite as noticeable as the roof. So
That's how I was feeling about it exactly. It sounds pretty good except for the roof. It does sound like there's some flexibility with the roof though.
plus it seems like the metal roof will be loud in the rain also.
I didn't ask the applicant, I should have, about the decision to use the plain siding without the grooves that would have been more compatible with the main part of the home. I don't know if it's too late to ask him that, but
We can close the discussion and bring the applicant back up.
okay.
Would you like to do that?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
great. If the applicant's willing, we have a follow-up question.
Yeah, so I kind of knew that the roof and the siding might be an issue. My main one reason for me is the cost of matching the redwood siding, and the fact that it can hardly be seen. Same with the roof. The roof cannot be seen unless you're in the backyard, because the roof is just at a slight angle. But again, I'm willing to be flexible on that. It's just that the whole process has been quite an expensive journey for a 70 square foot addition, where I had to have an engineer make the plans and do all this stuff. So it's just almost like I just wanted to have a little space, and I wanted it to be as simple as possible. Again, saying that, the main thing is that if the historic committee wants me to try and match it exactly, I can do that. So I think now it's up to you. Yeah.
Any further questions? Okay,
Not from me.
thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Any further discussion? Is anyone feeling the urge for a motion?
Cost-wise, I would probably be asking Sean about the difference between the grooved siding and the smooth, because if cost-wise it's comparable, it makes sense to try to match it as closely as possible. I think more significantly would be the roof, cost-wise and aesthetically.
I agree. I was actually surprised in looking at this that you can see this from the street at all. I mean, you can, which is why we're hearing it, but I do think that the visibility for the siding will be pretty minimal.
Especially once it's painted the same color. Right.
Am I hearing perhaps a motion with a modification about the roof?
I think I would like to propose a motion to approve the addition with the siding that they specified, painted to match the house, but a modification to match the roof to the existing composite shingle.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous. Would you like to explain to the applicant what this means?
So you have a 10-day appeal period, and once the 10-day appeal period passes, you can apply for your building permit, and that would be with the composite roof exchanged for the metal roof, but the siding can stay the same.
All right, thank you. Looks like there's no old business. Moving on to new business. Oh, yeah, thank you. Just leave him out there. Oh, absolutely. I don't have a pen or anything up here yet. Thank you. Okay, so old business, I see none. Moving on to new business, we have the resolution of service for Chuck Petty. We're going to review and approve the resolution of service to be issued to Chuck Petty.
Yes. I'm going to read it. Chuck, would you like to come up?
We really miss you today.
Get to be in the hot seat.
Okay. City of Eureka Historic Preservation Commission. Whereas Chuck has worked on or with the commission continuously since 1997 and served ably as its vice chair, and whereas Chuck worked with the other commissioners to promote community-wide appreciation of our local historic resources and support their conservation, and he invested personal time to help staff grow and become more knowledgeable, efficient, and effective at the job of implementing the city's historic preservation ordinance. And whereas Chuck chaired many committees working on the State Historic Preservation Office grants and other projects for the commission, and led other local preservation-focused nonprofits, including the Eureka Heritage Society and the Eureka Theater. And whereas Chuck advocated for clear and consistent policy on issues ranging from window replacement to demolition by neglect. And whereas Chuck consistently advocated in word and deed for the preservation of significant structures and the conservation of historic neighborhoods. And whereas, with Chuck's contribution, the Historic Preservation Commission succeeded in unfailingly providing education to both public and current and past planning staff regarding historical preservation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Eureka that Charles Chuck A. Petty be commended and thanked for his outstanding service to the citizens of Eureka and for his efforts toward historic preservation.
Thank you so much for that recognition, and you won't see the last of me.
That's good. Yeah, see you at public comment.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to directors' reports and communications. Are there any communications for the commission today?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Okay, any other reports and communications from anyone else on the commission? Okay, we can move on to the public comment period. Would anyone in the public like to step up?
I told you wouldn't see the last of me.
And just to clarify, this is for anything that's not on the agenda today.
Yes. I would like to invite all the commissioners and any city staff who wish to join us to come to the Preservation Awards for the Eureka Heritage Society on Saturday, May 11th at 10 a.m. at Dick Taylor Craft Chocolates. And I have flyers here if you wouldn't mind handing those out. And the other item I have is I was approached by a concerned property owner, and I was wondering if the Preservation Commission would consider maybe a letter of support on appropriate infill for historic neighborhoods. There's a project coming before the Planning Commission on May 8th. It's adjacent to a property at 709 West Booner, and it is a 2-story, 5-unit apartment building. And the issue that the property owner that's adjacent to this has is that the back of the 2-story unit backs up to their house, and it shades it completely from the west. They're hoping that they can convince the applicant, ACGC, and or the city to reverse the project so that the back of it is away from their house and they won't lose all of their sun, and they feel some of the value of their property by having a 2-story apartment building back up right on their house. So this is part of the packet that's going to the Planning Commission. Maybe wants to look at it. So, and I believe the owner at 709 West Booner is here, and they would like to speak to.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I don't know what to do. Do I press screen?
You can just,
Okay. My name is Stacia O'Neill. Excuse me, I'm really nervous. One second.
it's okay, take whatever
I
time
was
you need.
really thrown into this situation very abruptly. We've been stewards of a 132-year-old home in Eureka for the last 17 and a half years at 709 West Boone. We take a lot of pride in our home, and for the last 6 months, we took a very large equity out of the home to restore it back to an original state. We've removed a 1950s bathroom, and we are now installing a 1900s bathroom at a big cost to us. We removed a lot of trees on the property that were encroaching on the beauty of the home, a great cost to us, and we're not done. And we take a lot of pride in restoring our home. My husband and I are both members of the Preservation Society, and Bob Felter actually is a very good friend of mine, and he's very inspiring, and he's one who encouraged us to come forward. He thinks we have a very strong case. I wrote something down here. In the city general plan, it states that they would like to honor the look and feel of Eureka's legacy residential neighborhoods. I am not against housing. On the same lot, there are 2 other 20-foot tall, 25-foot tall, 5-unit multi-unit apartment buildings that I can see from my window. Actually, it takes up my whole window, but I still can get some light. And it was disappointing to see that, but I'm not against housing. We were always hoping that next to us would be duplexes or 1-story homes to honor the look of the neighborhood. The neighborhood is surrounded by Victorians, 1930 craftsman-style homes. And also in our neighborhood, we have 340 multi-unit apartment buildings, with the city proposing to create another 80 on the Sunset Heights, only 2 blocks from my home. At that point, I will have 400 multi-unit apartment buildings within 2 blocks radius of this proposed 5-unit building. I think we don't need it. We need housing, but we don't need a 26-foot tall multi-unit apartment building in this very small 7,000-foot plot. The plot is 130 years old. When we moved in, we put the fence, but it was open. And my husband has a lot of, every day we find clay, bones, metal, glass in our lot. So we know it's very important to the preservation of our community. I looked at the census for 1892 when our house was built, and there was only 25,000 people in Eureka. It would not be a far estimate to think that maybe there was only 5,000 structures at that time. Mine was one of them. The Carson Mansion, when you put in Carson Mansion, if you put in Queen Anne Victorians, the Carson Mansion, we're so blessed, pops up on every Google search I did. I have a Queen Anne Victorian, and someday I would prefer to sell that with equity involved. And there's many historical home sites that I would also like to list my house. And when I look at them, there's no 25-foot building 5 feet from the window. I don't want to overstep my time with you, but I would like this proposal to be rejected on the size and the encroachment on their neighborhood. The first thing that, I'm just going to read one last thing to you. And this is where I think it should be rejected on this one thing criteria. The first criteria that the Planning Commission says is this proposal development will not be a detrimental to public health, safety, or the welfare of material injurious to the properties or improvements in the vicinity. That's completely false. We have 6 to 7 real estate agents who are into preservation homes and say our home will decrease in value automatically. That's really heartbreaking when I've put 17 and a half years sweat equity into raising the equity and preserving this home. And this home has only been owner occupied the entire 132 years it's been on this in the city. So I think that's pretty special. Yeah. So all I'm asking is if you could write a letter in support asking to set a precedent for the preservation of historical homes and neighborhoods for future Eurekans like my children who I'd love to pass this home down to. And to be honest, if this is built, I will sell and move. And the home will probably be bought and turned into a rental, which would be a real shame because all the homes around there are owner occupied, except the only home on the other side of the multi-unit property with ACG built was sold 1 year after the building was built at a loss. It was sold to a real estate agent because we've talked to them, and it's now a rental. And that will happen to my 132-year Victorian because I cannot live next to a wall. I just can't. It's really sad. And that's why I'm so emotional. I haven't slept or ate, honestly, in 3 days. I used to take care of, I'll just let you know, I know Bob Felter. I took care of his wife for 4 years. So we're really good friends, and he's guiding us through this process. And he said that he will be here to write a letter in support of this, and he's hoping that you will as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dan Reed. I'm also the owner of the property. So other than what my wife's concerned with, one of our main concern is the lack of solar exposure to this home. Old homes were built very specifically with the western facing windows for the bedrooms to warm those rooms for the evening. It helps inhibit mold, which has been an issue in our home. We run DHUMs 24/7 and have for years. We don't have any mold issues because we have warm sun that warms that building every day. This building will dwarf our building. We have a 5-foot setback from our bedroom windows and the bathroom that we're remodeling. And then there's a 5-foot setback to the new building that's proposed. And it will take all of our sun completely away from that building. We will have maybe an hour's worth of sun facing down as the sun passes over. We even need this deeply in the winter, which we all know how cold and wet Humboldt is. So this is a serious issue. I've reached out to 6 so far real estate brokers from Marcy Pig, Dean Kessler, Sarah Corliss, Patty Stearns. All of them are concerned. All of them agree and are writing letters to say that this will devalue our property. If this happens, our privacy, this is a large lot. This is a very unique home in Eureka. Once you see it, you realize how old and special it is. This lot that was next to us, again, my wife mentioned that we put in the fence. Prior to that, there was a historic 1903 farmhouse, and there was no fence there. So I can guarantee that all that area has been used to dump pieces like this that we find all the time in our yard. So there is a lot of historical value in these 2 lots. The last one remaining, again, they're proposing to build. And again, my wife and I have no problem with building. You know, there's a serious housing crisis, and that's the reason they're building on all these infill lots. But it just doesn't fit. These are huge buildings, and now when you have 3 of them lined up, it does not fit in our neighborhood. Smaller single-story dwellings would be much more suited for this neighborhood. Taking 2 away, say for instance, and lowering it isn't going to change anything for any developer. As far as there's still going to be plenty of units built, but this is going to dwarf our house. And we have a lot of people jumping on board with us that are going to write letters and in support. So your support would be greatly appreciated and of a big help to us. And we're going to fight and fight and fight and fight until, hopefully we get what we need. And that's saving this beautiful old home that we are simply just caretakers. The home owns itself. It is just a beautiful property. So thanks for your time. And, we just really plead for your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to comment? I don't want to break protocol. Can we open this back up for discussion? Okay.
Yeah, we need to create an agenda item if you want to have a discussion about a topic for an upcoming hearing.
So they need the letter next week, right?
By the 7th, 4 o'clock.
There's somebody on Zoom with their hand up also.
Oh, there's somebody on Zoom.
Thank you, because they hadn't before. There is now somebody who's got their...
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and put them in.
Go ahead, Jasmine Ibarra, if you have something to say.
Hello. So I just wanted to kind of make a comment about the importance of preserving the historic nature of homes in Eureka. It creates a sense of community in the area. However, I also want to consider the fact of long-term impacts of our choices with preserving these houses for the environment as well. And just kind of pushing forward the use of sustainable building methods and materials and how it's essential for the future development of homes and structures in the area. So through the use of eco-friendly materials, reducing waste, implementing energy efficient practices. I would really like to see that with our new developments in the area, as well as incorporating sustainable building practices in the city of Eureka. You're doing its part in creating a better future for the community and the planet. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Okay.
I just wanted to say, it needs to be an agenda item for you guys and you can have a special meeting, but you need at least 24 hours notice of the special meeting.
So in order to get this letter on time, our hands are pretty tied.
Yeah, unless you had a special meeting 24 hours or later from now until then.
Okay.
Can individual commission members write letters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You just all can't confer with each other outside of a public meeting or confer at a public meeting and vote on something that wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was an excellent question. Thank you.
Can I also just clarify it's going this item that was talked about is going to design review committee, not planning commission.
Okay.
And I can send out additional information on that.
And the project number.
Yeah, and the
excellent.
staff link to the staff report and all that. We can send that to you guys.
Excellent. Thank you. We're not able to. Yeah. So, but if you have a question for someone in the public, we can do that.
I have a question for you. Could you give us a description or give me a description of more precisely where your home is located, since I don't have a picture? I live off of Boone, so I'm very familiar with that street.
Our house is a very large home.
Just wait till you get up to the mic.
Excuse me.
Thank
Very
you.
large home on the corner of West Boone and Garland. When you're coming down from Fairfield, It's the first large home on the corner. It has a large hedge around it, and there's 2 large multi-unit units on West Boone, right
I
coming
know
down from
those.
Fairfield.
Okay.
Across the house is a beautiful yellow and green Victorian, a historic home, and then there's a beautiful yellow and green craftsman style. On the corner is that really crazy gas station.
Yes.
Right
Oh, yes.
there.
Yes.
That's I could see that. I used to be able to see that from my bedroom window. I no longer can because of the apartment buildings. And at the top of that street is a really cool house. It has a tower and it has the Cat in the Hat. I used to be able to see that from my home as well.
Okay.
They're beautiful homes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we can close the public comment period.
Can I, one more thing?
Jump on it.
One quick one. We, along with our neighbors, all got a little green card stating that this public meeting was going on. They give us like a week to get all this stuff together. This whole thing is already basically set in stone, and we hope we can do what we can do to help our home survive. Just the fact that they don't give enough time and all this planning was done and we're told at the last second we're the ones who are going to be affected the most is really frustrating. So the fact that you folks couldn't just do what you need to do and have this up for meeting and get letters in time is also really frustrating. We're fortunate, though, that a lot of people are writing us letters like that. So I just wanted to say the frustration of the fact that we aren't given an ample amount of time or told like 3, 4, 6 months, however long this whole process has been going on for, is pretty frustrating. So I just wanted to share that as public. We're kind of the last to know, and that is really frustrating, especially when our home is at stake here. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, we will close the public comment period. And then with that, unless there's anything else, our meeting will be adjourned. Okay, adjourned. Thank you.